Oh, brother. So a friend of my Nana's gave me this orchid, and she needed me to save this poor thing. I've had it for a couple weeks. I'm just trying to let it settle here because life's about to get even harder for the plant. So I was being told about how sad this plant was looking, and yeah, the yellow leaves are definitely worrying me right here. Because typically that could be a sign for rot. It could mean other things. But orchids are very known for rot. It's pretty much the leading cause of these plants' death. Rot to them is like cigarettes to us. Luckily it comes in a clear pot so we can actually see what's going on in here. And when my Nana gave me the plant, she told me that this decorative pot was completely full of water. So that's not very confidence inducing. Neither are these black roots. I'm not seeing any good roots. Oh no. Okay, let's just get straight to it. Oh, hell. That's not good. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of... Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm starting to remember now. I did repot this plant at my Nana's house. It was in pure sphagnum, because that's all she had. And this is kind of the reason why I don't recommend using pure sphagnum moss. All of these roots are rotten. Like, they're all... Oh, no. Okay. This video might not exist because this orchid's probably dead. Okay, this is a lot worse than I thought it was gonna be. Okay, I knew it wasn't gonna be good, but oh boy. Is there any living roots at all? Yeah, the roots feel mushy and papery. That's, oh no. This orchid straight up just has no roots at all, which means that this plant cannot absorb water. This is not Gouda, and that could explain the leaves looking like this. This one's starting to turn a little yellow. I don't think there's anything I can do about this plant. I'm being serious here. There's nothing for me to do. I've heard that you can just leave the plant like this as is and just let the plant slowly grow roots, but it's still such a slim chance. And the fact that the plant's already showing signs that it's probably not gonna live much longer. Okay, I'm gonna have to change the subject on this because originally I was thinking, okay, I could just save this plant. I don't think this plant is even savable at all. So I'm gonna kind of change the subject on how you can prevent something like this from happening. But I'm gonna give this plant a shot. I'm gonna leave the plant as is, out of the pot, no water, no soil. I'm gonna miss the leaves here and there. I don't think that's gonna work because again, the plants are prone to rot because of the freaking crown. I just noticed, wait here, let me adjust the light real quick. Looks like there was gonna be a new leaf in the middle and it is gone. I don't know if the camera can see that. Oh no, this poor orchid. But I'm gonna clean this mess up over here and I'm gonna bring out another orchid and kind of show you what to do. I'm actually gonna keep this pot. Clear pots are good for orchids. So here's a rescue orchid I got about a year ago. It still looks a bit rough. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It also fell off the shelf. But it is growing brand new roots. And it was also in a pure sphagnum moss mix. I did not have orchid bark at the time and I really wanted to save this orchid. This is what happens when you rush it. I'm actually gonna take it out of this pot. Let's check their roots. The reason why orchids are so prone to rot is because these are epiphytes. Epiphytic plants don't grow in soil naturally. These orchids, for example, grow on trees in the wild. Some plants grow in rocks, some plants float in water. They just grow anywhere but in the soil. And this plant had very rotten roots. They just had a few savable roots. These are those savable roots that looked pretty rough, and they still look rough. But as you can see, it's growing new ones. In fact, there's new ones growing on top. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of the old roots that did not make it. And before I reuse these, orchids are also very prone to diseases. I mean, every plant's prone to diseases and fungal infections. So grabbing a lighter and just torching your blades a little bit can at least kill the bacteria that's on it. There you go. Snip it off. I need to get new snips, dude. Get rid of anything that looks bad. I'm actually pretty happy with the new roots on this plant because when I first bought it, it was rough. And in a way, it's still recovering. It hasn't bloomed for me for obvious reasons. And when you remove like dead and rotten roots, you'll see like these little sticks or something like that. I'm not an expert, so I don't know what they're called. Get rid of those. They serve no purpose at all. This might shock some people right here, but this whole bottom section of this orchid is absolutely useless. And I'm actually just gonna get rid of that altogether. Wow, it's on my... So yeah, that was a pretty deep cut right there, huh? What are you gonna do? Literally cauterize it. The reason why I literally just cauterize this plant, when you cut off a big portion of that plant, that is an open wound right there. Again, that can leave the plant very prone to diseases, bacterial infections. It's literally like an open wound for us. So now I think it's time to repot this plant, and this time not in pure sphagnum moss. I'm gonna keep in the original pot as much as I don't want to because it's so unstable in here. And the soil mixture I use for my orchids, I used a little bit of sphagnum, just a tiny bit. And sometimes I like to just break it apart. But it's mostly just like big chunky orchid bark, fairly coarse perlite. It's nothing special, it's nothing fancy. Putting a little bit at the bottom, gonna set the plant in the pot. Some people might be a little upset that I'm working with drier soil. It's just way easier to work with. Oh, it's just gonna expand. It can, yes, but if I work lightly, it won't be a big deal. Whenever you're repotting, you don't want any kind of air pockets in there. That's one good use for the holes on the side. You can tell whether there are air pockets or not. You can actually see there's actually a bit of a pocket there. So I'm gonna try to patch that up a little bit. Heck, I can probably just noodle feed like a piece of sphagnum moss in there. That should be good enough. So yeah, I'm gonna get this plant a good drench of water. And I'm gonna put this at the bottom of my plant shelf because this plant is very prone to falling. Oh yeah, I completely forgot to show you guys on how to properly water this thing. Ignore that. Give it a good drench. Don't do this. That can really cause crown rot, so don't do that at all. Also, orchids prefer cleaner water. Like the zero water right there, but I decided to... dirty dishes. If you were to get water in a crown and in the nodes, just take a piece of paper towel or toilet paper or something like that. Fold it, just kind of like shove it in there. Dry off the leaves, dry off everything. It should be fine. It really should. I've done it a million times throughout my life. Yeah, like that. And some people might think, oh, why did you use such a small pot? Again, orchids are epiphytes. If you put these plants in such a large pot, it's going to take a lot longer for the soil to dry out. Yes, you want the soil to dry out because these roots are very, very sensitive and they like to be kept wet. At least not sopping wet. They can stay damp, yes, but... these plants are complicated, okay? So yeah, it's gonna take quite a bit of time for these roots to fully grow in, and I gotta be very careful because, ooh, that's the joys of orchid bark. So yeah, that's how you prevent your plant from looking like this. If this plant miraculously survives, this will be like the garbage orchid or something like that. Like, I hope it survives, but it probably won't. I hate that for the plant. I just forgot Nana was wanting this orchid back. I hope you like your new orchid, Nana. Love you. So that's pretty much it when it comes to dealing with root rot on an orchid. You don't want it to be like this. You don't want that at all. For me to summarize it, make sure the soil is very well draining and it dries out quickly. The best soil mixes to use is orchid bark. You can use a little bit of sphagnum in there just so it can retain a little bit of the water, but you don't want it to retain too much. For me, I let the substrate completely dry before I rewater. And if you really want to know whether the plant's dried up, check the roots. You see how they're this silvery color? Well, once this plant is watered, the roots will turn green. It's just like an air plant. And I hope you guys learned something. If you have any kind of questions, let me know in the comments. I'll try to answer them. I'll try. I'm busy. And I'm going to clean all this up. I don't like cleaning, but I'm going to have to. I don't have a choice because I'm a grown man. That's about it. See y'all.